for BDS. Frankly, Yike.
Nice use of the wall. Pantama looking for an angle to send up. Arrow going in and again. Now Labrov finding the double knock of Pantama again, trying to find that angle to ult, but it's just not enough. Double kill for Sheo.
Let's go. Yeah.
I thought I meant
I'm going to
Guys, just kill. Get back left. Front left. Get back here.
Lucian dead. I can kill ranks as well. Nope.
Careful. Go left. Nice.
G2 squares up the series. It's 1-1, and I honestly don't know how BDS gave that advantage away, because we were criticizing their draft before the game started. We swallowed our words quickly when we saw that early game Nisqy, but was it at the end of the day the draft that killed them, or was it something else?
I think it was their play.
Okay.
Like, I feel like if your junglers had 1.5k gold at 14 and you lose it when every lane is just winning, there is a problem somewhere, right?
Jungle doesn't matter, I guess.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
this clearly shows that like jungle diff isn't real apparently, but I think that it was clearly a comfort pick coming through from Sheo. One of the main issues we've always had when he picked that is the fact that the first clear is quite slow with it. We never saw much come with it, and you didn't really get the same advantage with an AP jungler as you got from, well, like the brand we've been talking about. But I think they did a great job at mitigating that with their exact same strategy that G2 pulled down in Game 1 by doing that to them in Game 2 by just invading the Zyra.
Absolutely, and they had a great start, and I think we can now be kind of more confident if the pick does come out still in the jungle for Sheo. But we got to talk about how G2 came back in this game. It came down to, as you also told me, strategic shutdowns from Broken Blade, giving him enough gold. The fact that Caps picks up a kill here, then picks up a few more and a little bit more gold.
But I think it's so eager. Like, Sheo doesn't even take the wall here in the beginning, and while Labrov's engaged look really good, it's just the fact that he's flashing forward for a knockup that no one can follow up. Out of nowhere, you have two frontliners who's stuck in the enemy backline, and all your backliners have no frontline now, and they just get cleared by this CC. This team fight is really what broke BDS in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think BB's, as I said in the beginning of the game, I think Ornn is really OP in this draft. They were like 5-6k ahead and they were still winning the fights. And for me, I just feel like G2's team fighting got better and better when the game was going on. And I feel like in the early game, they were like very lost. You could even see like on their cameras, like no one was really laughing or whatnot. They would look like very sad.
They looked like they had already lost the game.
Compared to BDS where they would laugh, and then I feel like they threw the game and then G2 just picked it up and then won every single fight. And I think, as I always say, when you play G2, there's always one guy that you need to be careful of, and it's Caps. Like I think Soul kills Nuke, and then they get a good winning fight, and then they get Nash. Like, I don't know, for me, you have to be careful of Caps, and I think Nuke, for example, this game he played good in the early game, but then I didn't really see him in the mid game.
Yeah, but I mean, this doesn't even tell like the full story of this game, because even like when we were watching that game, I said to you, do you even think Caps can carry this?
Yeah.
You straight up said no.
I said no.
Yeah, exactly, because it just looked that doomed. Like we're sitting there 6 to 8k down, and they fumbled that lead. Like that has to do something to BDS as well, especially moving forward now, because you're on the brink of 2-0ing G2, an entity that BDS has always had issues with. Coming back from this one is going to be very difficult.
Hang on. Maybe they were like, we always get reverse swept, so we're going to avoid it.
Wow.
Is it possible?
I'm mind blown.
Maybe. I mean, last time we played BDS, they were 2-0.
Yeah.
And then I 3-2'd them in finals.
Yeah.
So if even Nisqy 3-2s them, they're like, well, G2's gonna like absolutely destroy us. No, but it's not a laughing matter, obviously, although we're allowed to have a little bit of fun. But it's 1-on-1, meaning we get at least 2 more games of this. Now, regardless of how the game played out, the advantages built with the Talia were still strong, right? I think everywhere else on the map, the Ashe was also still strong. I think you want to take that Lucian Corki matchup again, for sure. So it's hard for me to think about what should change, because it's such a momentum-driven in-game decision-making thing.
It's funny, right? Because the team that I'm coming out of this game thinking that needs to make changes is G2, despite them winning. And I think the early game is one thing. One thing is that it's a good effort from BDS, where they're just linking up before G2 and they're catching members when they're isolated. But it's also just a thing where G2 seems so lost. Like, it's been a while since I've seen so much random map movement from this team, a team that was known for having the best movement in the LEC. I have not seen that team play in today's series.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think G2's drafts, I feel like they don't really get pushed. For example, I think Corki and Lucian, you don't get pushed. They did try to pick Zyra first pick, but then they didn't pick the Lucian when it was, or like the Ezreal into the Lucian, which is like a 50-50 matchup, and they chose Corki instead. And I feel like they are the team that snowballs the best in EU, and I feel like right now they're playing another game, and even in mid-game, they don't really play the same way they used to. I feel like they're kind of lost, or maybe like lost of confidence or something, but there's for sure something wrong with G2.
Okay, strong words. For sure something wrong with
For
G2.
sure.
BDS is staying on the red side, so that might signal, oh well, you know, let's run it back.
I think they want to run back the same draft if they can. I think the only adaptation from BDS is that I don't think they should pick Renekton on 4. I feel like when they show their jungler, you should just pick jungle and counter pick Renekton with Ornn, which would be good for BDS as well. But yeah, except that, I'm not sure. I don't know if Nuke wants to run the same Lucian Corki matchup, but he probably does.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely will. I think this is interesting because blue side, of course, have been the side that every team would pick if they had the choice to pick it. But I think we're in such a weird situation where G2 doesn't even seem that confident as a blue side team right now. Like, go back to the first draft, they're banning Rumble on blue side. Like, this is crazy in a best of series from G2, who's known for playing not just the meta, but more to the meta.
Yeah, and a G2 who usually scales into those playoffs in preparation for a final. So it's been an interesting day here so far. So I'm really excited to see what Game 3 holds in store for us.
I think we're also excited here on the desk, especially when it comes to the draft, as BDS, I think, unsurprisingly pretty content with the results they've gotten, at least in Game 1 and in Game 2's early game from a red side draft. We'll see if G2 continues to ban Rumble. If Ashe is ever considered a part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, based off that game, they'd probably sit there and say no, because you just throw enough CC at her and they'll say, good luck having fun playing the game. But in any case, I know that G2 definitely don't want to know the game like that again. So we'll see how things adapt. In terms of the draft, it looks like Rel and Braum going to be taken off the board, with Tristana and Sejuani on the side of BDS. And there's the Rumble once again from G2. And a Zyra once again from BDS. So,
very same.
What is the first pick going to be? Another Zyra? G2? Is that the plan?
Do they Ashe first rotation as the other side? Like, because I think, okay, I was going to say, I feel like Yike is willing to build out the brand, but yeah, I think we just go back to Ashe Lucian.
Are we getting a run back? Is it Nautilus and then MF?
Is it a salty run back or an educated run back? Because for G2, again, despite BDS being the team that lost, I think G2 are the ones that should reconsider running it back, because that early to mid game was terrible.
And I think there's definitely opportunities for BDS to obviously learn from that, but also like, hey, if we want to go for Renekton into this Ornn again, we can go for the earlier Black Cleaver that we didn't see coming out from the Renekton, which you traditionally see. So I think there's a lot of things that BDS will have also learned and will only come back even more powerful if we run this through again.
But it is also important to note that BDS had an insanely strong early game that was reliant on them catching Mikyx and catching Yike very early on to make those lanes even better than they might have been on paper.
Gentlemen, so Olaf should be next, and then Varus, and then Italy. Right?
Okay,
That's
for
Italy. That's fine.
Oh, it's a mix-up technically, Betty. It's technically a slightly different draft.
Okay.
We're entering unknown territory here, lads.
They banned Italy first instead of the Olaf first.
So Varus, if BDS is looking to really run things back, the tension is
also
killing.
I've never felt so much tension about whether or not a draft is going to be exactly the same or not.
I think there's... Okay. Do we get the Olaf?
I mean, if we don't, I'm going to be very scared. This is uncharted territory.
Do you just take the Ornn if you're Adam though away here on this next rotation and say, hey, we're
No,
happy
I
to
agree
have
with
that,
what the
or-
desk was saying, that like the mistake was picking the Renekton now. What they should do is just pick jungle instead. So if we're going to see variation, this is where we should see it from BDS. But G2, if anything, they shouldn't need to change anything. Right now, they're just using their time to discuss, is what I imagine. Because you do only get, I think it's like 30 seconds between each pick.
Yep.
Oh, so they're going to take the Talia away. All right, so we do have some adaptation. So now BDS will be forced to change. But I think that their game plan was to move away from the Talia regardless. But let's see what they've got left in their wheelhouse. Don't fall for the bait, guys.
I'm not going to. Brand, obviously still a premier AP jungler. It's up with the Lucian already locked in. You expect another AP jungler to come through. Karthus.
Okay.
Okay, fast clearing. Great scaling in terms of, obviously the Requiem hitting 5 targets. Very powerful champion overall, but also very awkward champion.
It's a champion that Sheo played already, though. We saw it at the start of the split where he brought it out and was kind of this new adaptation for Sheo into these AP junglers, and he looked great on it. So we'll have to see if he's going to be able to have a similar performance here, but especially if you can look for these pick plays, it becomes significantly easier for Sheo to get involved with them with that ultimate to set things up.
And I think having a Karthus and a counter pick for your top side of the map put you in a pretty damn good situation. Make the 1v1 matchup that much easier. So instead, not willing to blind the Ornn, but willing to blind the Aatrox.
I feel like that's very dangerous into Adam, of all people. He's the type of player that will have some sort of unique pick to answer it. I wonder if something like the Darius or the Garen is even something you would consider.
I don't hate it in this position as well. You've got plenty of engage coming through from Ice and also Alistar, so you don't really need extra. So yeah, I think this works well. Double global coming through. You're into a decent matchup. Like, you can run the Arcane Comet on Aatrox if you want to try and find some extra poke, but I think you're in a pretty good spot here.
The main reason why I don't like it is, from my perspective, this series so far has been a lot about fighting. Yeah. It's been a lot about grouping up around objectives and finding 5v5s, and I just don't think BDS's 5v5 is as strong as G2's is.
And in Game 2, we saw BDS put on a masterclass of how to build a lead with semi-globals, and it wasn't enough to overcome a team with stronger team fighting prowess. Now, again, admittedly, Ornn is out of the equation, so G2 not quite as strong as they once were, but BDS's composition very, very vulnerable. If they do not execute well in these fights, it's only Alistar who can really step up and start these plays. Yes, Twisted Fate with a gold card is solid. Yes, the Ashe is solid, but it's not the same reliability you get from these beefy frontline threats.
But I think that's why BDS's composition will work better than last game, right? Because when you look at, hey, we don't have that Ornn follow-up, but then your main engage tool is Nautilus. And sure, you were able to find moments to have those big plays happen, but in a scenario where your follow-up is hoping that Aatrox can get into range, or you can hope to maybe a flash Zyra lockup comes through, I think it's easier for BDS to navigate these. But if you can continue to win out in side lane where Adam gets a lead and Nuke gets a lead in these early stages, well then you can definitely play through sides, group on mid, catch Yike out into jungle with Sheo, and very quickly start to snowball this.
Very good point. And additionally, when you have an Ashe and a Twisted Fate, it should be impossible for Broken Blade to find one of those iconic Aatrox flanks. You should always know where this guy is coming from. We'll see if BDS can once again find a lead in the early game. What the story of Game 3 will bring us. There was draft adaptations on both sides. G2 the same except for their top lane pick. BDS forced to change a bit more in top and jungle.
I kind of realized in hindsight that the logic behind the Aatrox pick was to deter them from the Ornn.
Anti-tank, yeah.
So if they're saying, like, I'm going to lock in Aatrox, if you go Ornn, you're going to have a miserable time top. So you have to pick something else, and that's the direction they've gone into. Again, like, I'm not super enthusiastic about BDS's comp. I agree with you, Dagda, that they definitely have options to play through from side. But based on the way that this series has been going for me, I think that G2 is just kind of setting themselves up for success.
And I do agree, if BDS ever fall behind, game's done. Like, you need this team to be able to snowball to find those picks. But if G2 ever run back into, hey, we are just 5v5, we're playing for neutrals, we're playing for team fights, it's already over. So for BDS, I want to see early aggression. I want to see them try and set things up. But that also doesn't really play into what Karthus does, right? But in theory, you do have set up with Labrov, you do have set up with Adam on the gold card. I think that's where they'll try and play through these sides into mid pressure.
Now keep your eyes on this early vision. G2 was worried a little bit about BDS doing some delayed invades. Zyra now starting on the top side of the map instead of the bot. Early ward invested from Mikyx around the Raptors to also keep track of whether or not Sheo was up to any shenanigans with the rest of his team. But BDS, to their credit, have developed some very effective early game plays, whether that be through their lane swaps, whether that be through their early invades. They were an early adopters back in the day of the Sion. Do you remember? Yeah. He would come with the jungler and they would threaten to dive bot sides. So G2, now having played 2 games against them in this series, respect it here in Game 3.
Yeah, both junglers got their chance to do something crazy. Level 1 Yike in Game 1, Sheo in Game 2. Will not happen in Game 3. And unlike Game 2, G2 able to start the lane phase as normal. So the MF Nautilus combo, able to get that early priority that they really weren't able to grab in Game 2.
And that's why you can see Sheo moving up towards his top side. Anzam and Mikyx would more than likely be able to get that control over bot lane, so at least opening up for Sheo to move towards where he's guaranteed push with top and mid. Maybe even look for a bit more as Hans gets booted out after a nice hook from Mikyx.
Still though, good damage onto Ice. Nice little chunk there, keeping him under the tower. Get Nautilus with the Riptide early. Should just always have that push. Alistar, as we've mentioned many times before, doesn't really do much to level 3. Was accelerated in our previous game, courtesy of those early kills. Now Mikyx making some appearance in the mid lane. Of course, Nuke doesn't know that Mikyx shouldn't have hook yet. Just gets it in time. Of course, the terrain reducing that cooldown, but still forcing Nuke back. And Yike is here too. Man, Nuke is not allowed to play the game. This one gonna connect. Second hook landing, but now Sheo ready to punish. Wall of Pain going down. Mikyx not sure if he has access to the Aftershock cooldown. As Labrov is here too. Almost taxied the minion, but didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, I like the job there from Labrov was basically like, I'm going to headbutt this minion. I have the potential to flash on top of you, Mikyx. Are you going to burn your own flash? But Mikyx, confident Labrov was not going to go for the flash play, so steps away. But G2 still hovering around here. They really wanted to make sure that Caps could crash the wave first and get a reset off, but not going to be the case. But BDS there to turn that mid play back in the round.
He's still just trying to be disruptive in the mid lane. Caps finally going to get a chance to reset. Nuke going to do the same. Mid wave is now even. Ooh, timing there good. Two fans, unending support here in the studio. Hansama and Ice continue to duke it out. Labrov will be here first, but Hansama should be just fine. Was already able to reset and grab a longsword alongside some extra pauses. Ice and Labrov really just want to crash this wave.
So far, I don't expect any super crazy priority on any early objectives. We've seen G2 pretty consistently in this series fight for the very first dragon of the game. I have not enjoyed watching those fights.
To be fair, I've enjoyed watching them. I just found them highly questionable.
Yeah, I mean, the logic...
BDS fans love them.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But just some of the decision-making, I mean, I think there's been a pretty consistent criticism of G2 where their early game has not been the flawless kind of looking throughout the year. They've definitely had some periods of time where their early game has been better than compared to others, but yeah, I don't fully understand some of the early Dragon priority. We'll see if they shift that priority. Keep my eyes on the rest of the map. Looks like nothing too crazy going to happen. Both teams just trading objectives. We find ourselves 1-1 in the series if you've just joined us. And BDS have kind of had control over the early game pretty much throughout the series. It was just in last game, G2 was able to find the better team fighting.
And just a quick aside, just impressive stamina here from the G2 army.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's like musket era warfare where they're like cycling people in and out of the champ, but they've just been going for the entire duration of this game. That said, it might not save Broken Blade. Sheo on the way here with the Wall of Pain. Broken Blade getting lower. Should be a quick kill, but hitting those sweet spots means a bit more damage coming out. Gets the flash out of Adam. Adam wandering forward. Vision in the brush. Means a dead Broken Blade, but we'll at least get the flash.
This is what we were talking about, though, with side lanes having set up for Sheo. I wanted to see him try and play around this, so nicely done in these early stages to get that early kill going in that top side. Gets the push. You've no TP for Broken Blade either, so this is just now a nice little advantage for Adam, who's already 700 gold ahead.
Sheo going to be able to convert this into the grubs as G2 secures the first dragon of the game.
And as you see, just deletes the objective there. The power of Karthus. Incredible clear speed in the kill as well. Going to accelerate him even further. Level 6 now. Requiem available.
What's Caps up to, though? He's hovering around on this bottom side. Was potentially looking for a play, but Mikyx was on reset, so maybe hoping Labrov would try and go a little aggressive to disrupt his tempo, but they don't end up overextending there on the bottom side.
Labrov ready to kick the fight off. Mikyx now wandering and revealing his presence. They weren't sure if he's there. The minion still connecting means that he can get in and at least apply the passive. Decent damage now coming down, but there's the Karthus ulti. Mikyx deleted, and that fight turned in an instance. The power of the jungler from BDS.
A 2v2 where they were not expecting the involvement of Sheo as Yike has made his way into the top lane. Ultimate thrown out.
Getting involved.
No flash, remember, on Adam.
Broken Blade zooming in, but they'll be happy to just cut the wave and deny some XP, maybe grab a plate as well. That said, Karthus 2-0 at this stage of the game. Already a bit of a concern for the side of G2. Hansama incredibly low. Ulti available for Ice. No cleanse for Hansama, but Mikyx will be there in time to dissuade a dive.
Yeah, if the Yike ends up showing again on top side, you can already see Sheo starting to move in towards this spot. They want to look for the dive. Hex flash over the wall, potentially, but Hansama just clears out with that ultimate, nullifying everything BDS were trying to set up.
Minions there. Volley range not quite enough. Arrow just to stop the recall.
Now, the small reprieve is that Sheo doesn't have his ulti available. Adam should feel safe enough to return back to lane now, knowing that if Yike was still here, he would have spent way too much time hovering around. But good damage done there. He's been able to close the goal gap a decent amount. Of course, Adam still finds himself with an advantage, partially because of the passive, but also because of the CS advantage. So Yike ultimately doing a good job of helping Broken Blade out on the top side.
Definitely is, but again, credit to Sheo. Previous game, super dominant. Yes, due in part to the level 1 strategy, but this game, despite playing Karthus, already got involved in a gank on the top side of the map, and of course, post level 6, he can get involved anywhere. But that early kill really helping snowball him ahead, 800 individual gold lead. You know, you expect the TF to be winning in lane, 0-0-1, bit of a CS advantage as well as the passive, but the Karthus being as far ahead is going to be fantastic for BDS in the fights to come.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Sheo wanted to try and move up onto this top side as the wave was going to start to slow push out, but it looks like they're perfectly happy with just having enough vision there for Adam to sit by himself. So going to move back down to keep his camp cycling. And now I want to see if we get that same kind of level from Sheo and Labrov, because last game it was so well orchestrated in the early stages where Labrov was just following and shadowing Sheo everywhere. And if you can set up for these plays with Labrov, the CC is perfect for the likes of a Karthus.
Little less of a signature combo though. The wall of pain and the Skittles not quite as dramatic as flicking someone through a bunch of rocks.
Kel throws a tantrum and then you get the Skittles. It's like any child.
And then Skeleton screams. Yeah, okay, I got it. Clearly. I think we had different childhoods, Rob.
Yeah.
Adam going blue, refocused. In an instant, bam, there he is, locked in.
It looked like one of those TikTok edits for a second.
It's the fan cam. Where's the song? Someone put the song on. That said, bottom lane. Labrov and Ice still able to take control here. Level 6 for Labrov is going to be big to force any potential aggressive plays here around the Dragon. G2 already grabbing the first Drake of the game. Traded for the 3 grubs on the side of BDS. Is quick wall of pain going to spot out Yike.
Level 6 is going to come through for the support soon. And it's Caps with the priority this time around. Often we've seen Nuke able to get it. There's a small window here where Caps can work with Yike to set up control around the Dragon. Still a minute and a half away, more or less. The grubs will likely be the bigger prize, but with Adam's control on the TF on the top side, it's going to be harder to contest that.
I actually thought Nuke was going to reset to get essentially trade that priority for TP in towards mid and a better buy, but he stopped his back to try and keep the mid wave, and now Adam in trouble.
Ulti used. Quick gold card, Umbral dash back in, but Broken Blade just threatening, just posturing. Adam just gonna trade ult for ult.
I mean, Broken Blade basically just walked at him menacingly.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, but Adam, he held his nerve, didn't end up burning anything, still holds the lead for now. It's Yike to start off the grubs. Karthus is in the area, but Broken Blade has control over the wave. It looks like that there's going to be no contest. Arrow
on the bottom side, Hex Splash ready to come over the wall. The Requiem to Hanzama. The calculation's not quite correct. Sheo grabbing the kill, or grabbing the assist, excuse me. Ice going to pick that one up.
And BDS has been doing a nice job of just finding these moments where Mikyx has reset, been separated from Hanzama, and get these picks. Now, it was traded for the 3 grubs on top side, but Mikyx now going to look mid for Nuke, as he knows that there's no reason for him to be in bot side.
And frustrating for Hanzama, right? It's obviously a solid setup from the side of BDS, but the fact that he has to do it with 300 to 400 less HP because of how powerful Sheo is, because of that Karthus ultimate. It's so difficult to know when he can afford to stick around.
I mean, overall, BDS find themselves with a good early game once again. Their jungler in a fantastic position, as you both have already highlighted. Ice continues to get stronger. They're in a great spot, given the wave state, to set up for the next Dragon. BDS, ultimately, they've delivered on what Dagda wanted, which is getting that early lead.
Specifically Dagda.
Yeah, no, they're like,
only Dagda.
I looked up at the caster booth and I heard him say,
give a little point.
This was
please be proud.
That one's for you, baby. That's what Sheo actually shouts when he ults.
Yeah. We do our secret handshake after.
But the point that I was trying to get at was they need to maintain this, because it's all well and good in terms of how they've been playing the laning phase, but what's going to be crucial is how they execute the fights and how they use this lead later on. You can see Broken Blade continues to gain more confidence. It doesn't really mean much as he walks aggressively because he's still 1,000 gold behind, but we'll see how things shift as the game continues. Dragon secured, of course, for BDS, 1-1 apiece, Herald in about a minute and a half. But outside of a few picks, a relatively slow affair.
3-3, the grub score 2. And you already highlighted, right? TF gold lead a little bit fake. Nice, size 7 Caps.
Caps has been playing Swarm for a lot of these early games thanks to Ice, where he's just going to try and dodge away from all these Ashe arrows that are coming in. So, has he done so far? As Adam will get Yoink back, but I don't even. He's going to be fine.
Not quite. Yeah, top lane really looks like they're going to fight, but it's a lot of, they just kind of square up, throw abilities, and walk away from each other. And so all things considered, you highlighted already, Vedi. I mean, a calm early game. Yes, BDS have the 3 kills and a pretty decent gold lead, but it hasn't resulted in any greater objective control.
And as a reminder, both these teams are already qualified for our season finals. We already have 6 teams locked in. So the results of this will not determine that, but the winner of Summer will secure a spot of Worlds. I believe globally they will be the first to lock.
No, Gen.G locked.
Oh, my
Because of their win at MSI, as long as they make playoffs, they are in Worlds.
Yeah. So ultimately,
what won't they take from us? We up our timeline so we can be first.
Oh, Labrov. Thanks, man. But yes, a spot at Worlds is on the line, and of course Fnatic in the finals tomorrow. Both these teams fighting for an opportunity to fight Fnatic. And for BDS, I mean, there's a lot on the line in the sense of pride, given that they've never been able to beat G2 in a series.
Well, in an entire regular season that was the story of development and wow, look how good they are now, was kind of undercut by a very bad start to playoffs. And while the series against KC was, you know, highly contested through the entire way, they did find the win. And if they can find a win here over G2, if they can even find a second game, first time in their history, it'd be an impressive start. G2, first priority on the Herald here. BDS not a lot to trade. Might try to make a cross-map play on the bottom side instead. Herald almost resetting, but won't do it.
But this is where, again, this makes me nervous for BDS's composition. If you can't find this cross map, if you can't find an answer for things that G2 are doing the map, well, then you start to look towards, oh, well, we're going to get more dragons. Suddenly Baron's up. Suddenly we can force 5v5s as G2. Now they are looking for the cross map, but it's very, very late. So Adam will at least just get tower, but you could have even looked for BB under the tower as he was trying to defend that earlier.
Getting something back at the very least, but yeah, you highlighted it.
I mean, it's Caps getting the same on top, right? It's just very, very late.
So the goal lead stays, you know, relatively close for now. At least, of course, G2 do have access to that Herald. 3K for BDS, but it doesn't feel like a 3K gold lead. It feels very much like an even game. Maybe that changes. Sheo now level 11, of course, has some magic penetration in the form of the Sork shoes. The Karthus is really strong, just hasn't had an opportunity to ult.
It's, you can look at the gold at the bottom, right? And you can sit there and go, oh yeah, that's a big gold lead. But really, you just have to look at the items. And if you look at the difference between Karthus and Zyra, there isn't a difference. Right? Now, that could just be because Karthus hasn't gone back to base yet, needs to spend some gold. But this is also why it's important to keep track of, like, I mean, we all have that experience, right? You press tab, you see the item differential, and you kind of keep track of what the actual difference is between them. And mid is relatively even. Top is where you see probably the largest discrepancy because an item is actually completed for Adam or it's not for Broken Blade. Between the two AD carries, they're also both probably in a very comfortable spot. So G2, even though we see a 3K gold, they probably don't feel like, as you said, they're in a 3K deficit.
Especially when they want to try and throw down this Rift Tower. It feels like they can just 5-man on towards mid-wave. That's a turret that's very, very low. And BDS in an all-out 5v5, it's way more difficult for them to execute from the current position they're in. So I think that's where G2, you can already see Caps getting control over top,
Arrow.
but BDS want to disrupt it.
Arrow, Caps, the Ghost now coming in for Adam. Quick gold card lock. Herald channel. He wants to try and use it to escape. He needs a few more seconds before the Herald will spawn. Now he can start to mount up. Valk's back. Now finally going to mount up. Labrov trying to body block, but there he goes. Masterful escape.
Okay, first of all, that was very cool, smartly done from Caps. I will say, however, him taking the Herald to use it as a safety precaution.
Look, all I'll say, to follow up to your all I'll say is they get a tower mid. So what looked like Caps might have just spent a Herald and potentially 600 gold to get away in style, does at the very least get them a mid-tier
And they may
one.
even get a bot one as well, because of the pressure that they have in mid, they can move that pressure into the bot side jungle, clear out the vision. Now Nuke has to be cautious of a dive. You can see his team responding to make sure that he stays safe, but the focus is not Nuke, it is of course the tower. So that will be the third outer tower secured for G2.
And now this game becomes very difficult for BDS to try and play because second dragon, all towers down, the access to the map that BDS are going to take despite the gold lead they have is going to be very, very difficult. So G2, if they can just play off of, hey, we outnumber and outpush you on mid, lean that into side lanes to keep Adam in check, keep Nuke in check in a side lane, this game is starting to teeter into G2's favor.
Oh my gosh. If you were around for the Ryze ulti plus Zhonya's interaction, this is the same thing in 2024. Difference is it costs you a hell of a lot of money, effectively, so...
And you can only do it once a game.
And you do it once a game. But it looks cool every time. I will never get tired of seeing
Yeah,
that.
I do remember him doing that was it last week where he took it away from Mikyx?
Killed him.
We never got a follow-up on that. I need to...
Yeah, we need to know. They were saying G2 looked out of sorts. Is that the drama?
Yeah, is that the drama?
Can we just spread misinformation right here in the cast?
Well, we find ourselves, again, in a bit of a neutral state, which, as Dagda highlighted, is probably not the state that BDS want to find themselves in. Again, you kind of look at the gold at the bottom of your screen, and now you look at the items. Now you'd be scared, because Sheo has Malignance. That is a much scarier Karthus than a few moments ago. Has been power farming through the jungle, and now with a full item advantage over Yike is definitely in a scary spot. And the same can be said for Adam. A full item advantage over his lane counterpart. So these are two that really need to make their presence known as we find ourselves in the mid game, looking to try and attack sides. We've already seen it. Ice and Labrov forcing 2v2. Karthus ultimate comes down. Let's find ways in which we can utilize that Twisted Fate ultimate as well to start a fight off, a 1v1, a 2v2, and then have the Karthus ultimate really change the dynamics of that fight.
Yeah, I wonder what BDS are up to, though. They've dropped bot wave entirely and sent Nuke up towards top. All he got was Krugs and now has to walk the whole way bot side. It feels like BDS unsure of how they wanted to play it, if they wanted to try and like overload top side, but no one really showed. So now it just gives BB that push and bot and a free reset. It looks like BDS are just struggling as to what they're supposed to do from this position and fumbling waves on sides now.
I mean, it is difficult, right? As strong as the theory of the TF plus the Karthus, you've got the Ashe arrow too. It's all very obvious in terms of what it wants to do and approach to the game. You can see G2, while Caps was stepping very far up previously, now that he doesn't have the Herald anymore, he's very willing to back off at those top waves. Doesn't want to step too far forward.
It's a crazy sentence to make for the record.
And I think inevitably he will step too far forward. It will happen. It is still, you know, it's still Caps. You'll go for it. Mid laners in the LEC and overextending on side lane is a tale as old as time.
It certainly is. He's going to be very close to completing his Mirror Mana, which is also a nice spike for him. Going to be working towards the RFC third, I would imagine. But notice as well, Sheo, 2 levels above Yike. His game plan has been one of priorities, and that is clearing jungle camps. He is 179 CS. He is power farming, and he's doing a damn good job of it so far. Because now we tend to look at like the big mid-game objectives. Things like Baron definitely become a big, scary point. Both teams have relatively fast Baron take. Both Zyra and Karthus, big contributors to being able to melt that objective.
Nice. They're out of position, but G2 don't feel confident to step up. Of course, no information on Adam, the potential for the Destiny to come in and turn the play. And additionally, we saw it in the previous game, right? As long as the Alistar and the Ashe have CC, in this case the Twisted Fate as well, Hot Summer really can't afford to push ult. It will immediately get canceled.
I mean, if I'm BDS, I'd be thinking about trying to secure that top outer tower. It's relatively low. They want to try and bring... That's why I think the idea behind... Oh, arrow.
Nice hook buffer from Mikyx. But you can see, Karthus hurts.
At least that's what I think the logic was from bringing the Lucian up from earlier to try and overstack topside, but as you rightly said, they do feel like that they're kind of fumbling a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's just because the wave wasn't pushed in yet, so you didn't really have a moment. Getting that push onto Mikyx, though, does help them buy the space they kind of need now to potentially threaten that top tier, because you can already see G2 were basically making this play, and now BDS might be caught.
GP into the top side, looking to catch out BDS. Quick use of the Stride Breaker, not going to amount to too much. Mikyx now hooking in, looking to lock down that Twisted Fate. Instantly, Mikyx in the back, looking to lock up multiple members, and there's the bullet time again! Layered with the ulti from Yike. A solid pick from G2. They trade support for mid lane.
And this is why it's so difficult when you're in this position as BDS, because they overextend just a little bit, but G2 had already got all that control on top side, already set all that vision. So Broken Blade TP's in, they get that pick. Baron was started, but just ends up hitting them with a couple of bits on the way out.
It ends up only being a 1-for-1 though. TP invested from Broken Blade, and the exchange did come in from Nuke too. A couple summoners used, but ultimately not going to swing the game either way. The bigger thing is the fact that Dragon is spawning in about 35 seconds.
Adam.
Caps.
They're caught out here. One more auto.
He keeps doing this, man. It doesn't matter what champion he's on, but since the AD carry meta has come around, Caps just consistently finds these picks on side. It's why teams often have to ban the Tristan away from him, but he's doing the same thing on Corki.
Nisqy talked about it before. That arrow going wide sucks for BDS, stops the counterplay from coming through, and now Nuke forced to move up topside to try to catch that wave to stop Caps from getting more. This is frustrating. So much of League is supposed to be this perfect chess game. Caps consistently making these creative plays to disrupt that.
And now they get a completely uncontested Dragon, and that gold lead is whittling away. It's a situation where, as strong as this Karthus is, we haven't really seen it be scary so far. And there's still opportunities for it to do just that. But BDS, with their gold lead, with their kill lead, it does feel like that it's G2 once again dictating what is happening on the map.
And this is where I think if you're BDS, you've got to try and find some way to get Adam to shadow nuke. Like, if Corki shows in this wave, try and just immediately ult topside. And that looks like maybe what they're trying to do here is they're rotating Adam up. But you can see Caps is already backed away. He's not giving them that moment the second he sees that wave disappear on bot side.
Labrov, though, continuing to go even deeper, lays down a bit more vision. BDS, are they willing to go even further to catch Caps out? Nice. Takes a big chunk of damage, and again, MF, all AD items, Bloodthirster alone, plus 80 AD. So in terms of a sustained fight outside of the ultimate, MF might not do a lot, but those burst trades, very heavily going to favor her.
Caps just continues to farm in a side lane. It's almost like his home now. He's happy to be here. Broken Blade doing a similar job on the other side. His items, again, still pretty far behind that of Adam. But when it comes to the team fights, I'm sure he's confident in his ability to have impact.
And I think we're in a very similar situation where this combination of the Zyra and MF, like in Game 2, is going to be really tough for BDS to handle, especially because their primary plan, at least in terms of draft, of getting these picks, has not come through at all outside of one or two in the early game, but now looking to force onto Yike, immediately trying to turn back on Adam. Adam deleted! BDS not in a position to go that far, to follow. G2 grouped up enough to stop the pick from coming through.
They didn't have to follow up, and it wasn't a go-kart from Adam, and Broken Blade even stopped his reset on bot lane, so now he's on towards the tier 2. He's going to rotate in behind. BDS, they've overextended.
Mikyx looking to collapse. BDS, if it lose any more members, G2 will turn right back to the Baron.
It's not a good angle, though, I think. I think the HP is too low on the side of Yike, and Caps also going back to base. Wisely, I think G2 back off, but that idea that we just saw is exactly what Dagda's been asking for, right? That attempt of, but doing it on a side lane should be the strategy. Trying to catch Caps while he's putting pressure down onto you on top lane, or trying to catch Broken Blade while he's catching waves on the bot side of the map, rather than just going towards where the Baron is. And it's so easy, not only for G2 to collapse, but onto a Zyra of all people who can, I mean, did you see what happened? Root into knockup, into MF, then coming to clean up. Like, I feel like that the priorities and execution of this comp from BDS is just not coming together.
And it's one of the really awkward things about being the Twisted Fate is you telegraph your arrival. And similarly, while the AD Twisted Fate is a lane monster, it's not the AP Twisted Fate of old where you can Zanya, you can gold card into Zanyas, you can really one-shot someone if you get strong enough in the game. You're never going to be that DPS threat unless the entire team ignores you.
And it's unfortunate that the ultimate from Ice missed, because if it had hit, then you get the CC chain and it's perfect. But combo was flashed away from, and now BDS, they're grouping up as 5, and G2 immediately can see them go, wait, you're 5? We're very happy if you want to take a 5v5, and all start to group around this mid lane, forcing back BDS, and again, controlling where they can move on the map. There's basically a semicircle around those outer turrets for BDS where they can actually play the game.
I mean, look at Caps again. 3 items fully completed, 26 minutes in. He returns to his side lane once more. He has a full level over Nuke. And earlier, I commented on how Sheo had a 2-level lead over Zyra. Now, you can see the little pink bar next to Yike's icon. He's now gained an XP lead over Sheo, because Sheo hasn't been able to prioritize all that farm that he was getting earlier. And while he is working towards that death cap, that's true, he's going to be scary. He's going to be a late game monster. Karthus always does damage in the late game. That's 100% a very terrifying thing to deal with. But when the 5v5s come down, Yike is definitely going to be no slouch. And I just don't think BDS have the front line to be able to weather the pressure that G2's comp can throw out.
I mean, yeah, in a tense game, CC also just so impactful. Yes, the Space Laser, the Karthus Requiem is strong, but G2 can just layer their CC. If they can leverage that with Hansama's ultimate, their game plan is so simple, so easy to execute.
But look at how BDS are trying to make plays. It is a second that wave is cleared out on bot, Adam shifts out of the lane and tries to move. But before he even gets to that position, G2 have already pulled right the way back, and you could hear the pings on that bot wave. The second Adam is not on that wave marching out, Broken Blade is spamming like a madman those question marks to say, get the hell away, play back, because the only way that there is a window for BDS to come back into this is finding a play. But
Nice.
too far. Oh, Mikyx!
The predict from Mikyx right on time. G2 fishing for an angle, but now the TP coming in. Adam might want to fire one back. Just the gold card. G2 with the enemy AD carry deleted. Where do they want to go? 12 seconds before the Ocean Soul. And BDS have to be ready to fight this, or at least do something, because giving it up, it's crushing.
But it's G2 who find the pick, and what a great way to do it as well. Use caps, oh my goodness. Use caps to force the flash out from Ice, to then have Mikyx with the follow-up. Just great execution from the mid support combo. And now they'll get themselves the Ocean Soul. There was a promising early start from BDS. They were able to find some good picks, get a good lead, but as we've entered the mid game, G2
baby.
have circumvented any potential picks, have controlled the objectives, and now they have an Ocean Soul.
And I think it's been BDS not really finding those moments to cross-map effectively in the early stages. You really need to trade all the time, and then Labrov might be trading his life here.
Get caught out, looking for the flank, looking to move deep into enemy territory, hoping to get a creative angle in the fight to come. Now the chase down, should just be dead. Might take a bit of time here,
That might be
but
Baron too.
Rob will fall eventually. Broken Blade feeling good about this one. 2.5 items now on the Aatrox after surviving the lane against Twisted Fate. He gets a kill. He's got an Ocean Soul. G2 not going to start the Baron. They just want it to caress them, in words of Rob. It's a quick caress before they leave.
And it was lovely. They had a great time.
This is frustrating for BDS, guys. Like, look, game 1, you know, game 2, the massive lead, but now in game 3, G2 have just, I feel like, shored up so many of their weaknesses. So much more disciplined, respecting what BDS can do, not giving them those angles of attack, and just playing this out almost painfully slowly.
It's what you need to do against this sort of comp, though, because all you want to do is play for objectives, because it forces BDS to play as a 5-man unit, and you just win in that regard. So unless you get caught, BDS can never get a foothold back in this game. So this will be long, this will be drawn out, but now with Elder in 4.5 minutes, G2 kind of have another objective that they can play for.
Oh my, sorry, I knew Caps was sitting on a lot of gold, so I wanted to see what he would back on, and in my head I was like, who's got a BF? Who's got BF plus pickaxe? Just grab Infinity Edge. Yeah, level 18, Infinity Edge Corki.
I don't know if you were watching the rapid fire cannon autos before the Infinity Edge, but it was 40 to 60% of the health depending on who he hit, so
G2 will now start Baron, and they will force you to come and fight them.
All right, Sheo's stolen once before, but he's the Karthus this time around. Can he get into the pit? Can he make it happen? Hook onto Sheo. Wall down. Bullet time. Going to immediately get around to Battle of Labrov. Nuke with a decent culling, but he's just not doing much damage. This Ocean Soul is so damn oppressive. G2 get the objective. Can now turn right onto BDS, and they're all basically full health. G2 dominating. Those advantages they've been building up all game finally paying off. There's just nothing that BDS can do.
This game was over 10 minutes ago. It was only just waiting for G2 to put the final nail in the coffin. Sheo running for his life, but I mean, maybe the plants can get over the wall here.
He didn't even use his ultimate in the fight. It was such a one-sided slaughter from G2. Oh, he's just barely able to go back to base. Now the ulti comes through.
Yeah, screw you, Vedi.
Look
what it did.
That is the frustration ultimate. That is the double lift flash of ultimate. You use it because you're not going to get another chance. Sheo. Oh, God.
It's not pretty, is it?
Well, turns out Ocean Soul and Baron is quite an oppressive combo. BDS struggling to mount a defense here. G2 again clean and composed.
I mean,
it's
been a slow and painful affair, right? They've just taken their time. They've been very steady. Dagda highlighted it nicely, where they've been really respectful of the Twisted Fate ultimate too. And now that's 3 inhibitors. They were just waiting. Caps just said, guys, I've almost got my item. Let's just wait a second. Goes back, grabs it immediately. Straight onto the Baron. Force a fight. 3 inhibitors down. And now it feels like just a matter of time.
It's exactly that. You can't really exit from your base. And good hook here from Mikyx on the Sheo. The bullet time over the top nearly takes him down, but interrupted by Labrov, so he's not able to get much. Broken Blade finds space in the top side alongside Caps. Very much close to finishing off Adam. Managed to get ice in the back of it, and it's just a disaster for BDS.
Did Hans hit a Q onto Labrov as he was headbutting in, and then the double up actually connected onto Nuke as well?
That is what it looked like, yes.
Ouch. Kind of crazy.
Mikyx going in. Again, they can just walk these waves in. It'll be tough for BDS to respond. Caps just going to stay healthy. Labrov looking for that flank. Hansama stepping up, but they don't really do enough damage. Cap steps in, finds the kill. Labrov on his lonesome, not going to do much as Broken Blade tanks 3 members of BDS. Culling coming out, gold card will connect, but now it's Caps who instantly steps up, gets the triple. They want the penta. They want to feed it to him. Are they willing to dive? Berlin is bloodthirsty. The G2 army bloodthirsty. They want to give Caps this penta, but no. It is a quadra, and Yike will steal it away, but G2 will move on to match point. An incredibly dominant showing in game 3.
A difficult composition for BDS, the pilot. Silence have been something they've been working on for a while, but they just were not a match for G2 in this one.
Also, like that Aatrox, it ended up being a very clever response by G2, pushing them away from the tank matchup that they probably wanted to get, pushing them onto some type of carry which they couldn't execute properly. They got early game leads, but they couldn't snowball it. Well played overall from G2.
Certainly was. Hello, Sean. You're the best. Also, that other person.
Glad shot.
Sorry, thinking of the song. What? You're the best.
Never gonna keep. We're gonna hope that BDS are playing that particular song on full blast. So before we infringe any copyrights here, we're gonna send it to a quick break. When we return, game 4, match point for G2.
Pick up! Come on, come on!
Eyes on the battle, not your screen, Commander.
I was thinking we could use some backup. Yes! Now, Ryan!
Steal your pride, Wolf. The fish girl is winning.
Woo!
He's mine.
Not bad, little leader.
You have a plan, Commander.
We win.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Can't believe we lost to NA.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, we always are.
Yeah.
Psst, Pedro, do you and Law want to go on a legendary adventure with Marriott Bonvoy? Just go ahead and press that button. Over 30 hotel brands, 10,000 global destinations, over 8,000 hotels worldwide. Where can we take you?
Oh, it's Berlin.
Let's go.
Marriott Bonvoy. Unlock exclusive member rates and legendary benefits across over 30 hotel brands worldwide. Sign up today for free and claim your Masterwork chest and key.
Oh.